Well, hey, and happy 4th of July. And we're here today to talk about America's band, the Beach Boys, and their connection with the 4th of July. And a little bit of a announcement that I'm going to be hopefully doing today. Well, I know I'll be doing it today, but hopefully really enjoying it today. Hopefully the weather holds out. And related with the Beach Boys here. So stay tuned for more of that after the intro.
I know their music speaks for itself, but I just wanted, on behalf of all of you I know, to thank the Beach Boys for coming here on this very special occasion. We were looking forward to seeing them on the 4th of July. I'm glad they got here early. We're very honored and proud to have you here at the White House, which is everybody's house, belongs to all of us. And if you didn't believe that our whole family have been fans of yours for a long time, just look at Nancy.
What's going on here, Mom? I can tell that. California girl, what the heck?
Well, again, God bless you all and thank you very much.
Thank you.
So yes, Ronnie, we're all excited to see the Beach Boys on the 4th of July. To me, it's just been a thing. I mean, I was always a Beach Boys fan in the 80s, and knowing they were always playing the Washington Mall, the mall there in Washington, D.C., every 4th of July, our Independence Day here in the United States, you know, it was quite a thing, and it got turned into quite a thing thanks to one man. And I think where Ronnie was kind of alluding to that a little there with what happened there. And I just want to kind of go through that history on that. But I just kind of grew up always associating the Beach Boys with the 4th of July for several reasons. Obviously, I mean, for several years, they played Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, on the 4th of July to massive crowds every time. So they started out in 1980, 81, and 82. I believe they were with the Grassroots, the band The Grassroots, that also played with them on those shows. But then this happened.
Interior Secretary James Watt, well known for his controversial views on land and water use, today expressed some strong views on rock use. Not the quarry kind, as Bruce Morton reports, but the 4th of July concert on the Mall kind. It's what some rock fans are calling the unkindest cut of all.
So yes, this James G. Watt, the Secretary of the Interior for Ronald Reagan, the Reagan administration, in April of 1983, decided that the Beach Boys and the Grassroots were attracting a crowd that he wasn't quite happy with, and he decided to ban the Beach Boys and any rock performers from playing on the Mall on the 4th of July. The Beach Boys, I mean, America's band. I mean, in a way, I know that's not like a true, like, given to them, it's kind of a little thing. It's never been like an official thing that they said, but I mean, come on, how much more American and I want to say United States because I know that term American is very whatever, but you know, how much more for the United States does that band mean than the Beach Boys? I mean, they are our rock band. I mean, the surf music, it's summer, it's 4th of July, you know, it's just everything, right? So this guy banned the Beach Boys from playing in any rock band in at all, and wanted Wayne Newton to come and be the entertainer. So I mean, I guess whatever. But you know, I think there's a massive group that would love to see the Beach Boys perform too. Anyways, he said that, yeah, they were attracting the wrong elements, is what he said, encouraging drug use, alcoholism, and people stealing from the attendees. Turns out, from what I've read, there was another kind of movement going on that day in whichever one that it was, probably the 82 show, that was like a pro-marijuana thing, and that's what he was really upset at. It wasn't even related with what the Beach Boys did. And little did this James G. Watt know, but the vice president was not only a fan of the Beach Boys, but Sid also was friends with them. George H.W. Bush, not just W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. So he was a big fan of theirs. And the Department of Interior also received 40,000 complaints about the ban on that. So pretty good amount of people, kind of saying, hey, we don't want this. We want the Beach Boys there. We want the grassroots there. We want rock and roll there. Yeah, and getting back to George H.W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush there, the vice president at the time under Ronald Reagan. Direct quote from him, "They're my friends and I like them." So there we go. And not only was the vice president fans, but so was the president and the first lady, also from California. So of course they probably have a little bit of a connection with the Beach Boys and a little bit of fandom of them, some local boys that they want to support. But yeah, President Reagan and First Lady Nancy Reagan were fans of theirs. They ended up presenting Watt with this.
The president personally handed this to me after I'd visited with Mrs. Reagan. This is shooting yourself in the foot. The president is a friend of the Beach Boys, and he likes them, and I'm sure when I get to meet him, I'll like him.
So a plaster foot with a hole in it, saying he shot himself in the foot on this one. So they did bring the Beach Boys back. As the first little clip that you saw there, that was kind of a little prelude to it. I believe they were playing a thing there, I think it was on June 12th of 1984, for the Special Olympics, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I just was watching some stuff on it and kind of looking at it. So that was June 12th, a little bit before the 4th, and that's what President Reagan was kind of alluding to there, that, they were going to be coming back on the 4th, playing the mall, rock and roll back on the mall there. And so that was quite a day there, and I'm really quite impressed with it. In 1984 there, when they did return, there were 750,000 people in attendance there on the mall, and I believe I didn't catch this anywhere else as I was doing my research, but as I was kind of doing a little further research, I believe Ringo joined them, so a little Beatles connection to this all here. Also in 1985 they returned too. They did an afternoon show in Philadelphia, and that had 1 million people attending it. And I'm kind of like, these numbers are so staggering. Like, was it just 1 million people were out, at the 4th of July events in Philadelphia, and that's what they're kind of counting it as? I'm not sure. But then they came and played the evening there in Washington, D.C. on the mall again to 750,000 that day on that again. So, wow, right in one day, almost, 1.75 million people. That's pretty amazing. And then just 9 days later, they performed at Live Aid, and then did the opening campfire for the 1985 National Scout Jamboree to a crowd of 32,000. So pretty big things that they had going that couple of weeks there in 1985. So pretty amazing on that. Also in 1985, I don't know if this is everybody's favorite thing to hear that are Beach Boys fans, but that was also the first time that John Stamos did appear with them on that. So kind of a little legacy on that with the band, because he is kind of considered a member there, an honorary member, I suppose. And kind of going my legacy with me, as I kind of was talking at the beginning there, I always remember PBS for some reason, I think always would play on the 4th those concerts. It seems like I've seen them, and I remember I would go tune on the TV on the 4th of July at some point, and hoping to see the Beach Boys. I was a big Beach Boys fan in that time, and it seemed like I think they would replay those, because we're going into the late 80s, early 90s here, even, that my recollection is kind of remembering it. It seemed like I always could find that performance of them playing in DC, with the Washington Monument, as they look out at the crowd and stuff and all that. And just so cool. And, that was just kind of part of my 4th of July. I always had to look up the Beach Boys. I'm pretty sure it was always PBS I tuned into. Back then, there was only about 20 channels you could pick from, so before cable and all that got really crazy. But yeah, I seem to remember always watching that. And then also on PBS, there was a show called A Capital Fourth, that they play every year now. And I know my parents, it's kind of their thing. They like to watch it, and I end up just kind of hanging out watching it with them if I don't got much else going on the 4th of July. The Beach Boys do tend to perform on that quite often. Now, it's a pretty big show where you got, the military bands playing. You got all kinds of different pop acts, Broadway acts, so forth and so on playing. So it's a pretty good variety. And so it's usually one or two songs that each performer does, but it seems like the Beach Boys always come on to at least perform something. And as of late, I know it seems like I've seen them on a lot of these when I've watched this over the years, because it seems like I tend to watch this with my parents almost every year. But in 2018, I know they performed with Jimmy Buffett. And then in 2017, going back another year back, they performed with Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray. Of course, this is the Mike Love Beach Boys touring band, not anything related with Brian Wilson or Al Jardine. And speaking of Al Jardine, that's where we're going with what I am doing today. So today, I am on my way, as you're watching this, to Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Just south of Shakopee, Minnesota. Prior Lake, Minnesota, I think is where it's technically considered, but to the Mystic Lake Casino and Hotel. They are putting on a show, showing with a free concert with Al Jardine as the main headliner on it. And absolutely amazing. And I saw this weeks before Brian's passing. So I've known this was coming up for quite a while, and when Brian, when the news of that came out, it kind of hit pretty hard on that. But I'm like, well, what an awesome way to honor him, if Al is going through with this and, keeping the show going, which everything looks to be good to go. As a matter of fact, Al is now even, as you can see up there, is now calling this the tour, his tribute to Brian Wilson, and this will be the first show kicking off the tour there. So it's Al Jardine with the Pet Sounds Band, which does feature several people from the old Brian Wilson band, plus his son Matt Jardine. So going to be a pretty awesome thing. And when I saw about it, I said, what a better way to spend the 4th of July. I'm not much of one to go out on the 4th of July. I tend not to like crowds. I tend not to like our town itself. I've never really enjoyed the festivities here. The town where my mom is from, a little small town in upper northern Minnesota, I've always thought they did 4th of July so much better. And it seemed like a lot of summers as a child, I would spend up there. So that kind of got instilled in my mind. This is how 4th of July is supposed to be. And I've tried it in my own hometown and my other grandparents' hometown, and it's just never been the same. So if I get a chance to go to my mom's hometown up in northern Minnesota there, I for the 4th of July, I do try to get up there and do that. That's the only time I'll get out and do actual 4th of July events. So maybe this will change up my doing 4th of July up a little more here. So, but yeah, I said, what a better way to spend the 4th of July than to watch a Beach Boy on the 4th of July. And then, them after their show, the fireworks and stuff I'm assuming is how it's going to go down. But yeah, I'm going to be here. If any of you are watching this or are in the Twin Cities and the show starts about 5:00. There's an opening band, local guy playing. I'll have his name up there. And then Al will be going on a little later in the evening there. So if you're not aware of this and are in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area and want to head over, have a good time, if you see me in the crowd, say hi. I'd love to meet y'all. But yeah, I'm going to be there at Prior Lake, Mystic Lake Casino, enjoying Al Jardine and paying tribute to Brian Wilson. I love the fact, sad at the fact that it's going to be that, but I love the fact that Al did turn this into that, to pay a little tribute to him on that, especially with a lot of the band that is his former band there. And I just watched, I didn't write this down, I wasn't even planning on saying this, but literally I just watched an old now from a couple weeks ago interview of Al that he was talking about this, where he got the idea to make it the tribute on that. But speaking of Brian's band, he mentioned in there how in the past couple months and that his band every Tuesday, the Brian Wilson band would go over to his place and just perform for him. And I thought, how cool is that? And Al said when he'd get the chance, he'd also join in. But just absolutely amazing. I loved hearing that. That was so cool. Really touching. Man that has brought so much music to us, and just a lover of music, that his band looked after him and when played music for him. in those last few months there of his life there and that. So that was really, really cool and touching. And, you know, I've seen the Mike Love version of the Beach Boys 3 times. I've always wanted to go see the Brian Wilson band because I knew Al Jardine usually played with him, and Blondie Chaplin and several of them and that stuff too. So I was always wanting to go see that, but they never came in this area. So when I heard that Al Jardine was going to be near, I mean, it is a bit of a drive, but not too bad. I was like, yeah, this is just a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. I missed my chance to see Brian. Now I really missed my chance to see Brian, but Al is still out there touring, and let's go see him. And now I can say I've seen kind of a more complete version of the Beach Boys there. So anyways, I'm turning this a little more morbid than I was hoping to, but yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm really going to have a good time. I'm going with a good buddy of mine. We're going to just have a good little 4th of July. We're taking off the next day and everything, so it's not like we're staying down there for too long, but just hanging out at the hotel there and everything, and and I think we're going to be really having a good time today. So, and I hope if you are in the Twin Cities area, stop by and say hi. If you're already planning on coming, now you know I'm going to be there too. So look me up. If you see me walking around, I'll have this shirt on, as a matter of fact. So come and find me, say hi. So there we go. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get fully wrapping up here. Before I do, though, I want to once again thank all my subscribers, and thanks to any new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And do hit the notification bell so you know when I got new videos coming out. Also, please give the video a like if you like it. And like I said, if you've stuck around to this point, you must like it. So please give it a like and do leave a comment. I love having a discussion with everybody. Let me know your thoughts on this. You know, just are you a fan of Al Jardine? Would you like to go see him too? Because I know he's got several other shows coming up. Just go look up on his website there. You'll see where all he's going to be playing. I don't think they're all going to be free like this one. I'm shocked that he's doing a free show. So pretty amazing on that. And then, yeah, just let me know your thoughts on that. Have you seen Al? Have you seen the Brian Wilson band? Have you seen the Mike Love touring band? So forth and so on. Anyways, I'm going to get wrapping up fully and signing out. I am Beetle Dustino, signing out.